Okay, I think we'll get started. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for attending today's webinar regarding the Scottsdale Road Bike Lane Project. My name is Laura Kaifas, and I'm with the Tempe Neighborhood Services Office. I'll be helping out with hosting today. Chase Wallman, the Transportation Planner with the City of Tempe, will be our presenter. This meeting today is being recorded and will be posted to our website, tempe.gov/Scottsdale RD bike lanes. We have a couple of folks joining us today, but I think we won't bother with all the raising of hands. If you want to speak, I will just unmute you. I'll unmute everyone, and we'll go from there. The comment period for this topic is open until November 17th, so we really encourage you to go to tempe.gov/Scottsdale RD bike lanes and take the survey there, provide us any comments, any input you might have, and we will compile that for the City Council and everyone to review. I think that covers it. Chase, handing it over to you.
Great, thank you, Laura. As Laura said, I'm Chase Wallman. I'm a senior transportation planner with the City of Tempe, and just wanted to, again, thank you for taking your Saturday morning and reviewing our preliminary designs for the Scottsdale Road Bike Lane project. So next slide, Laura.
Yeah.
So this project's primary purpose is to extend the bike lanes that currently end at our border, excuse me, with the city of Scottsdale at Continental Drive or Roosevelt Street, as it is in Scottsdale. So this project proposes to extend those bike lanes south to our existing bike lanes at Curry Road. In addition to the bike lanes, the project will also be proposing to improve ADA accessibility along the corridor for all the corridor that's within city right away. So some of these improvements include ADA directional ramps at all the street crossings. It includes the addition of ADA compliant pedestrian push buttons at our signals. And then there are also a few driveways that are within city right away that we are proposing to improve to be ADA compliant. So with all of that, we will, of course, do pavement rehabilitation in the form of a micro mill and micro seal. So it'll also receive a new pavement treatment along the project corridor. Next slide, please. So a little bit about the history of the project. The project was first identified in Tempe's General Plan 2040 and the connectivity plan, connectivity portion of the general plan. But as well, it was identified for bike lanes through the city's transportation master plan. So with that, we staff in 2017 applied for the bike lane project to compete for regional and federal funding within the region. So in 2017, the city was awarded just under $1.3 million for the construction project in 2022, and that was a FH, Federal Highway Administration grant. And then in 2020, staff also proposed, also applied for an additional grant, and this time that was for the final design plans for the project. So in 2020, the project was also awarded an additional grant for $285,000 that would fund the final plan specs and estimates for the project. With that, in 2021, this year, we kicked off the designs, and that's with our design consultant, Enfra, and they're the ones that we'll be working with and prepare the preliminary design plans today that we'll be reviewing. Next slide, please. I did want to mention some of the other concurrent planning work that's being conducted in the area. First, the ADA transition plan. So this plan really identifies the deficiencies of ADA accessibility within the city's right-of-way. So we're able to use that plan to understand some of the ADA deficiencies and some of the ADA improvements that we'll be able to make within city right-of-way as part of this project. So we'll be looking to leverage that plan when we propose these ADA improvements. In addition, we also want to work towards Tempe's Vision Zero resolution, which is to reduce fatal and serious injury crashes to zero. This corridor is identified as an area with high crash rate along the project corridor and high pedestrian and cyclist crashes. So this is something that we're going to look at closer as we conduct this project and other projects in the area. And then finally, also going on and that they've just received feedback on is Tempe's character area plan. So on the right is a excerpt from all the transportation related comments that we received as part of that character area planning process. So we'll continue to review the feedback that they receive as part of that separate planning process and see what we can incorporate. Next slide, please. As far as the existing conditions along the corridor, Scottsdale Road here is a 7-lane arterial road. It's 3 northbound travel lanes, 3 southbound travel lanes, and then you have a center turn lane landscape median. The posted speed limit for the corridors is 40 miles per hour. And as I said previously, we do see a high crash rate here of serious ped and cyclist crashes along the project corridor. The cross section here is just a typical cross section that you'll see along the corridor. You'll see that it's mainly characterized as 11-foot lanes across the cross section, and the outside curb lane that you see is relatively wide at 16.5 feet. So we're gonna look to reduce some of that excess width on the outside curb lane in order to put in the bike lanes that we're proposing with this project. And then we have 8-foot attached sidewalks on each side of the street. Next slide, please. This first photo is showing our connection on the north end of the project to Continental Drive, or Roosevelt Street as it's signed out there. So this is looking north at our border with the city of Scottsdale, and you can see the bike lane configuration that we are trying to extend south into the city of Tempe. Next slide, please. This is a typical mid-block view. This is looking near Hancock Avenue. And this slide really just wanted to point out, it gives really good context as far as you see on the left photo, just how wide that outside curb lane actually is in context with the vehicle that's occupying it. So this is your typical view of those mid-block areas of Scottsdale Road where we have the landscape medians and the 8-foot sidewalks. Next slide. And then finally, this is our southern end of the project. This is at Curry Road. And really what I wanted to point out here is just your connection point to the existing bike lanes that continue east and west along Curry Road here. And this will connect over to a College Avenue area with additional bike lanes, as well as eventually get to the Crosscut Canal multi-use path. Next slide. Alrighty, so this slide is showing the proposed improvements at our arterial section. So this will give zoom-ins of some of the treatments I talked about before, as far as what those ADA directional ramps look like, the pedestrian push buttons, and you'll notice here that we're showing the green paint. So in this section along our arterial crossings, we'll be proposing to put this green thermoplastic paint for the bike lane symbols, and this to increase visibility and awareness of the bike lane along the corridor. And then of course we will have the posted bike lane signs to hopefully also increase visibility of this new bike lane. Next slide, please. And so this view is the cross section, so you really get an idea of what the new proposed dimensions will be. Overall, it's characterized as reducing some of the excess travel lane width that we have along the corridor in order to accommodate a 6.5-foot bike lane. So that's what we're proposing here, is reducing that outside lane width in order to accommodate the 6.5-foot bike lane. Next slide. And this is a kind of an illustration view of a mid-block area as well. And really what this is showing is that we're looking to maintain all the landscape medians along the corridor. There's some sections where the medians are getting a little bit shorter to accommodate the new striping. But as far as the number of lanes or number of medians along the corridor, that will remain the same. And really the only difference here that you see on these mid-block sections, really the improvements that we're making here is the addition of the bike lane, and we'll of course have the bike lane symbol, but you'll notice here that it's our standard bike lane symbol as opposed to the green thermoplastic paint that we have at some of the arterial or street crossings. Next slide, please. And this is a cross section here at Hancock, between Hancock and McCallum. So this is a typical mid-block cross section that you would see along the corridor, where we're proposing these 11 and 10-foot travel lanes, vehicular travel lanes. And with that, we're able to gain the addition of the 6.5-foot bike lane. So this is a cross section that you would typically see along the mid-block areas of Scottsdale Road. This one specifically between Hancock and McCallum. This slide, before you play it, Laura, this slide is a roll plot view. So this will be, this is our proposed improvements overlaid on an aerial, and it starts at the southern end of our project at Curry Road, and north is oriented to the right. So the video will scroll through this roll plot, and this roll plot's also available on the project webpage, so you'll be able to zoom in yourself and see the improvements a little bit closer. But before you start the video, Laura, you'll notice some of these areas that we have ramp improvements. You'll see those same lane dimensions that I mentioned before. So anything in that darker black that you see will be the new proposed improvements. So primarily we're able to gain this bike lane through the reduction of the excess travel lane width along the corridor, but there are some segments where we're proposing some curb reconstruction. And this is one of the segments here. So you'll see a reduction in the travel lane width here along Scottsdale Road near Curry, but also on the west side of Curry Road, on the west side of Scottsdale Road from Curry to Weber. You'll notice this is the area that we are calling out some curb reconstruction. So with that, Laura, you could go ahead and play the video. And this is some of the areas that you see the driveway improvements. So this is where we're able to make the ADA accessibility improvements along the driveway because we have the available right-of-way there, as opposed to the east side of the street where we do not. You'll see as we cross, we have the ramp improvements, the directional ramp improvements at all the street crossings, proposing to maintain the landscape medians as shown. Great. And then as we approach McCallum's, this is a section where we also have some curb reconstruction. And that's this time on the east side where we have more available right of way. So we'll be making some driveway improvements along the east side of Scottsdale Road here from McCallum's, just short of Fillmore Street here. And then beyond that, we'll be again within the curb to curb cross section for the project, and instituting the bike lane here and the directional ramp improvements at the street crossings. And this is our north end. So this is where we connect and we'll match the cross section with the city of Scottsdale for continuity. All right, next slide, Laura. I did want to mention another program project that's also within the project corridor. And this project is a proposed pedestrian signal. Right now, the final location is being determined, but again, this was in response to some of the instances of the high crash rate for pedestrian and bicyclists along the project corridor. So this project was awarded just over $200,000 grant for construction through the Highway Safety Improvement Program. And so what this project is, although it's separately funded and programmed, we're going to look to coordinate this pedestrian signal, the construction, with our Scottsdale Road bike lane project. So I just wanted to make everyone aware that we also have this other project within the project area. What you see there on the left in the blue That's a potential area. Like I said, the final location is still being determined. It's something that our traffic engineering group will need to review the most recent data further since we've submitted this grant and understand what the best location would be for this. But we will be proposing to coordinate the construction with our Scottsdale Road bike lane project as well. And this will be a pedestrian signal, perhaps similar to what you see here at Highline Canal. So you would have just a pedestrian phase where the vehicles are stopped, allowing the pedestrian to have a signalized crossing across Scottsdale Road in a potentially mid-block location where a current signal does not exist today. Next slide. As far as next steps, we've taken this to our Transportation Commission and received feedback from them. We held a public meeting on Wednesday. This is our second one that we're holding, and that will wrap up our first round of public meetings for the project. The public comment period, as Laura mentioned, is open for 2 weeks. So we will continue to gather that feedback and hope to get a lot of feedback on our survey, which is available at tempe.gov/forum. We'll take that feedback and reiterate the design and plan to go to our Transportation Commission, our ADA Commission as well, which I don't have that listed, but that's also another stop that we will be making to get additional feedback. But then we'll be coming back out to the public after we review the feedback and reiterated the design. And we're anticipating coming back in February, but a date has not been set yet. So we will update the webpage and, of course, send out notifications when we do have a date secured for that. But we'll gather this feedback and the feedback from our city commissions, as well as our individual departments that are also reviewing the project internally. And then we'll come back with a reiterated design, likely in February of next year, and then gather that feedback, reiterate the design again, and then hope to finalize the plans later this summer and anticipate a construction start likely in the early part of 2023. So with that, my contact information is available if you have any additional questions beyond this comment period here at the end of the presentation. But if you have any additional questions, please feel free to reach out. These same project materials that I showed today, as well as that roll plot that you'll be able to zoom into, will be available at tempe.gov/Scottsdale RD bike lanes. So this will have the PowerPoint, it will have recordings of this PowerPoint, as well as that roll plot. And then again, please take the survey so we can get your feedback. And that'll be open. I think Laura could probably confirm the date, a little bit less than 2 weeks now.
November 17th. Yep.
Perfect. Okay. So with that, Laura, I think we're ready for question and answers. I just wanted to thank everyone for spending their Saturday morning with us to review these preliminary design plans.
Okay. So I see we have some questions in the chat. I'll just read them in the order they came up. From Deborah, she's asking, what is Tempe's dollar contribution to the project?
Thanks, Deborah. So Tempe's contribution is 5.7% of that amount. So I think it was, I need to try to find it here in our CIP. Let's see.
We can get back to you with that exact number, Deborah, but so it's around 5%.
Yes, it's around 5% of the 1.25 million.
Yeah.
I will continue to look for that, and I will report back once I have the CIP up.
Okay, so the next question we have is, well, it's actually a comment that the landscape medians are crumbling. Don't know if you.
Yeah, thank you for that comment. So this is our preliminary design plan right now. So they haven't gone to the detail yet of actually inspecting the integrity of some of those curbs in the median. So that's something that they'll do as well, and have another site visit and really inspect it closer and see what improvements need to be made to the median itself. It's just very high level right now at the 15%. So thank you for that comment. We'll we'll look at the condition of the medians obviously as well and see what improvements we need to make.
Another comment from Shirley is that the proposed section did not show the median, but showed 2 turn lanes. Where was that section cut?
Yeah, I apologize if the title of that cross section got cut off. So the one that showed the 2 turn lanes, that was a cross section at Curry Road. So that's where the median drops at that location and has those dual lefts. But otherwise, we're proposing to keep all the existing medians that are there today. That cross section was just at Curry Road where the median dropped short of the intersection.
Okay, so this next comment comes from David. He says, thank you for the presentation. Non-buffered bike lane is inconsistent with MAG's active transportation plan recommendations for high-speed roads with heavy trucks. Scottsdale Road is a very hostile bike and ped environment, and a paint-only bike lane feels neither safe nor comfortable. Has the city considered buffering options, especially given our Vision Zero goals? And Mitch says he agrees with David.
Yeah, thank you for the comment. I agree. I think if we had all the available right of way that we had in this section, and we did not have the budget constraints here, I think we're really constrained by the right of way as far as introducing anything more than the bike lane that we see being proposed today. So that's something that I'm gonna review again with our traffic engineering. This is just our 15% design, and that's the kind of feedback that we wanted to hear with this project. We are constrained, as I said, with the right of way and overall budget for the projects, but we'll want to put in as much as we can within the constraints that we have. So if there's any room in our cross section to be able to accommodate more of a buffer, then I think that's something that we're definitely going to explore. So this is something that we need to bring back to our traffic engineering group and understand what the minimum constraints are, the minimum widths for our travel lanes and the other uses along the roadway. But I think if we had the available right of way, that would obviously something that we would want to accommodate in this roadway. We're just unfortunately constrained by what the available right of way is here in this section. But as far as if there's any other room to do a further reduction of the travel lane width, if it still meets the city standards for this, I think that's something that we'll definitely explore.
Okay, the next comment from David. Increased enforcement for speed, racing, excessive vehicle noise, and reckless driving would also seem to be an important part of a comprehensive solution to make this an attractive street segment for more biking and peds. Does the city have data about actual vehicle speeds on this stretch of road and noise? And we do have Kathy with us. Kathy, if you want to speak, I think you're unmuted, Kathy. So do we have any data?
Yes, we just took counts out there, actually 2 weeks ago, and the volumes, I can't remember, the volumes were what, Chase, about 30,000 total, and the speeds were right at speed limit. The 85th percentile speed was 40 miles an hour. So that's the latest data that we have.
And I found the local contribution for the project. So just so everyone's aware, for the construction grant that we received, our local contribution is 86,000. And for our design grants that we received, our local contribution is 17,500.
Okay. Anyone else have any comments, questions, items they'd like to add? Now the chat, here comes another one. How about the 95th through 100th percentile speeds? I anticipate that road narrowing could help limit speeds.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was directed again towards Kathy, but just chime in. Yeah, I think the hope is with the narrowing that should also help um, with the speeds. I think just from the visual of the narrowing of the lanes. But I'll let Kathy chime in if she has anything additional she'd like to add from the traffic engineering perspective.
Oh, Kathy, you're muted. Hang on. Try now, Kath.
Okay, thanks. I didn't want to think I was ignoring them. You know, we did get data on, we got full speed data, so I do not have that with me right now, but we can add that to the responses when we get back in the office.
Okay, and a question from Shirley. Could you speak to the design process? Are you working with local firms or is this city generated?
Yeah, so the design process is we have what we're kicking off our final design for the project. So right now we're at the 15% level design, which is a very preliminary design. So we usually go to get public feedback early on in the design process before we get too far along. So that's why we're here today at the kind of preliminary design stage. But beyond that, there's some standard benchmarks that we hit, which are kind of draft versions of the design at 30%, 60%, 90%, and then bid ready plans. So we'll be coming back out to the public again in February, and that'll be that'll be the 30% design plans. So that'll be another round of feedback early on in the design phase for us to respond to before we get into a 100% level design or a final design that's ready for the project to bid. So the firm is a local firm. Since we received a grant for the project, this is also in conjunction with ADOT, who administers the federal aid for the project, so Arizona Department of Transportation. So this is also a project that we're working closely with ADOT, and ADOT is the one who selected. They have a list of local firms for the project. So this is a traffic engineering firm that was selected for this project, and their name is NFRA, NFRA. But beyond that, we'll finish this design process, and then the project will go in front of. The project will be listed on the city's website for contractors to respond to bids and bid the project, and then from there we'll take the lowest bid that we received from a qualified contractor to conduct the work. So we'll finish up the design. It'll be reviewed by ADOT to make sure that we're meeting all of our federal requirements, since the funding is federally funded for construction. And then once they approve it, the project will eventually be bid. And then if we have a contractor that has responded and met their requirements, the project's contract will go in front of council for their approval, and then we will begin to schedule the actual construction activities for the project.
Another comment, it seems like Scottsdale Road around Curry is a racing hotspot for Tempe, hoping the redesign will help. Someone thanking us. What is the city's vision for safe connectivity of bike routes from Scottsdale and Curry to the other side of the lake? The 202 intersection feels impossible to navigate via bike. Also unmuting you again, Kath. You want to jump in? Or Chase, either one.
Sure. Yeah, I think this section is also identified in the master plan for some bike lanes. So the ultimate vision is to continue bike facilities to the 202. There hasn't been any formal design work done yet south of Curry Road towards the area of the 202. This is also the area adjacent to the county island. So I'm not sure if Kathy could speak more to what improvements we could actually make adjacent to the county island. But as those parcels get developed south of there, we do have a site plan review process where any of the private developments that come in will require them to make the necessary improvements as far as additional right-of-way dedication to accommodate future projects, or make the physical improvements themselves. So right now, there hasn't been any formal design work south of Curry Road. I know there's some additional funding opportunities that the city has explored within that area, and some regional regional opportunities as well. But to my knowledge, there hasn't been any formal design work beyond just being identified for those bike facilities south of there, and beyond the work that we're doing as these private developments come in to make sure that we have what we need in the future to be able to accommodate a future project. I'm not sure, Kathy, if you wanted to add anything additional.
No, I was just checking that the actual right of way, and it's right behind the sidewalk on the east side because of that previous the county island. We have a little bit on the west side, but it's kind of spotty. So there's some maybe possible right of way acquisition and things, or dedications that would need to happen in order to, as Chase said, in order to have the bike lanes get down to 202.
Thanks, Kathy, and thank you for the question.
Okay. Anyone else? Any questions? Any comments? If you want to be unmuted, if you want to speak, just let me know. You can raise your hand, or you could just unmute all of you, which I think I did. Well, we're ending a bit early, but maybe we've covered it all. If not, you can always get back with us. Chase's contact info, was that on the previous slide? Nope. I guess we don't have it on this one. Anyway, you can reach Chase at his email is chase_Wallman@tempe.gov. He's the project lead on this. Oh, I guess it is on the screen. It's just behind my chat. Sorry, folks. Got a lot going on here. You could call or reach Chase at his email that's listed here on the screen. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. And if there's no further questions, I think we'll end today's meeting.
Great. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this morning.
Have a good rest of your day.